Welcome back to the War Boss Fitch channel, everybody. And today we are going back to the Age of Fantasy to talk about the Eternal Wardens. Now, the Eternal Wardens do not have any models put out by one-page rules, but there are a few different 3D creators that do Eternal Wardens models. And the one that we're going to be focusing on today is Havoc. They have a large selection of models underneath the name of Spartan Cast. But the army list and these models were created independently, so there are some gaps in the army list, and for that I'm going to put in Games Workshop Stormcast Eternal models. You'll see as we go along. So what we're going to do now is move on to take a look at the special rules. So this is the list of special rules they have for us. An interesting one for the army is Smite. Once per this model's activation before attacking, pick one enemy unit with an 18. That unit must take a morale test, and if failed, it takes 3 hits. So obviously, triggering off a failed morale test, it's going to be more useful against things that are lower quality. But every dice has 6 sides. There is a possibility that 2+ quality units will fail that morale test. Head Taker, this model's melee weapons get AP +2 against units where most models have toughness 3 or higher. This is going to be doing a lot of work against larger targets, and is an interesting choice because this army is made up of mostly things that are toughness 3 or higher. So everything else we will talk about as we get to the units. Let's take a look at the spells. These are the spells for the army. We don't usually talk about offense spells. They do what they say. But let's talk about the buffs and the debuffs. Terrify. Target enemy units with an 18, they get -1 to hit rolls next time it shoots. Something that this army is susceptible to is getting shot, just because it's going to have a low model count, and dice are dice, you could always just get lucky. So anything to change the mathematical equation in your favor is worth it. Star Chains. Target 2 enemy units with an 18, they move -2 inches next time they advance, or -4 inches next time they charge and rush. Your units are going to get into some sticky situations where they are surrounded by the enemy. Star Chains are going to allow you to kind of dictate who can charge what and in what order. And then lastly, we're going to talk about Shock Speed. Target 2 friendly units within 12, they get AP +3 next time they charge. With this spell, you'll be able to take your weakest units and shred whatever they touch. So we got 2 debuffs and a melee buff for the army. Not terrible. That shock speed is really good if you build your army around that. But for now, let's go ahead and take a look at the units. We're going to start off with the heroes, and the first one is the Eternal Lord. Quality 3, defense 3, fearless hero, and toughness 6. Comes with a heavy hand weapon for 4 attacks, AP 2. Here we have our unit upgrades. The first one is Smite, which we already talked about. Herald for Celestial Beacon, which gives this model and its unit ambush. Army Standard Bearer for Fear of 3, helping this model out and its unit in close combat. And finally, Inspire, where you can pick one other friendly unit within 12, and then they can move up to 6 inches, giving you some more mobility. You can switch out the heavy hand weapon for a heavy great weapon, heavy lance, meteor great hammer, or a dual heavy hand weapon. Covering all the bases of AP 4, AP 2 with lance, and when lance charges, that'll turn into AP 3, hitting on a +1, so with lance, they hit on a 2. Meteor great hammer for the deadly 3 attacks, and dual heavy hand weapon just to double your output. You can upgrade it with Destroyer Armor for defense +1 and slow, so it goes to defense of 2, and a Beasthound Companion for warning cries, so nothing can ambush within 12 inches. And then you can upgrade it down here with a mount. You can do a Drake for 1 attack with Rending Claws, a Breath Attack, Fast, and Toughness 3. And Breath Attack, we're going to see that a lot in this army. Once per activation, roll the dice, and then a 2+, 1 enemy unit within 6, and in line of sight, takes 1 hit with Blast 3 and AP 1. As your dragons, literally breathing fire on them. You can go for a dragon for 2 heavy claw attacks, AP 1, Breath Attack, Fear of 1 flying, and Toughness +3. Or a great dragon with Breath Attack, 6 attacks, AP 1 with a heavy claw, 4 attacks, AP 1 with stomp, Fear of 2, flying, and toughness +12, taking it up to toughness of 18. Starting at toughness 6, if it takes any of these options, it is no longer able to go into a unit, but if it takes any of these options, it's not going to need to. In essence, this character is your army commander, and you can outfit him appropriately. To make him a fast hitter on his own, you can go for Drake, Heavy Lance, and the Fear of 3 to make sure that whatever he gets into a fight with is going to run away. Or you can even go for the dual heavy hand weapon just to get more attacks out there. That one is up to you. Next unit is the Warden Knight. Quality 4, Defense 4, Fearless, Furious, Hero, and Toughness 6. Comes with a sword and a staff for 3 attacks, AP 1 with poison. Again, we have Celestial Beacon, but here we have Exorcist for Caster 2 or Master Exorcist for Caster 3, giving you access to spell tokens for the spell list. And it has the option for Artillerist. And what Artillerist means is once per activation, pick a friendly artillery within 6 inches, and you can either shoot again with that artillery piece, or pick it up and move it by 6. You replace the sword and staff with a heavy hand weapon, great staff, heavy great weapon, or dual heavy hand weapons. You can give it some ranged weapons with a knight bow, 4 shots at 24 inches AP 1, or a great bow, 1 shot at 30 inches AP 3 and deadly 3. You can upgrade it with paladin for empower, where whenever you're in a fight, roll a dice. On a 1 to 3 you get rending, and on a 4 to 6 you get AP plus 1. Beast Hound Companion for warning cry, or you can give them wings for ambush and flying. And then you can upgrade them with other mounts. We have the Drake Lion, 3 attacks AP 1 fast and strider, the Horned Pegasus, fast flying toughness 3 and impact 3, or the Great Griff, fast impact 4, scout and toughness 3. So no dragons for this character, but this is the character that's going to fit the easiest inside of your squads. Different cavalry unit options with all of the mounts down here, paladins for empower, bows for any synergy with ranged units, and then all the different weapon options to put them wherever you want. Plus Celestial Beacon, meaning that this unit is going to take whoever you put them with, they're all going to be able to ambush, and then casters. You should have at least one of these in your army list somewhere. And then last hero is the Guardian Elite. Quality 4, Defense 4. Fearless, Hero, and Toughness 3 with a heavy hand weapon, 3 attacks, AP 1. It only has 2 options here for the squad. You can give it Smite or Inspire. Switch out the heavy hand weapon for dual heavy hand weapons, a heavy halberd, or a heavy great weapon. Or you can upgrade it with an elite bow for 3 shots at 24. This is the minor hero of the army. Honestly, all this one's really good for is that Inspire, being able to give out a little bit more mobility every turn. But other than that, I would go with a Warden Knight, just to get more horsepower out of the character. Now we move on into the multi-model units, and we're going to start off with Guardians. Quality 4, Defense 4, with Fearless, and Fearless is something you're going to see across most of the army. Fearless means whenever you fail a morale test, you get to roll another dice. On a 4 up, the test is counted as passed. It's like a morale do-over. They all come with heavy halberds for 1 attack, AP 1 with rending. You can switch out the halberds for a heavy great weapon for AP 3, or a heavy spear, AP 1 and counter. And counter means whenever you get charged, you are going to attack first. And then down here are the command upgrades. Sergeant, 1 model gets +1 to hit. Musician, the whole unit moves +1 inches. Or Banner, the unit gets +1 to morale test rolls. So these are the cheapest unit in the army. They're still 75 points, but with the cost of everything else, you're going to be running low on activations. And if you want more of them, put in more Guardians. Hooking them up with spears, they will be good backline protection units, or moving them forward onto an objective just to contest or hold it until some of your heavy hitters can show up and finish the job. Next unit are Wardens. Quality 4, Defense 4. Fearless, Furious, and Toughness 3. Furious means whenever you charge into combat and you roll a 6 to hit in melee, it counts as 1 extra hit. So I like to call those exploding 6s. They all come equipped with heavy hand weapons for 2 attacks apiece at AP 1. And you can switch out the heavy hand weapons for dual heavy hand weapons for 4 attacks at AP 1. And you can replace one of the heavy hand weapons with a heavy great weapon for 3 attacks AP3. Interesting squad choice we're going to see more of as we go along, the replacing one of a certain weapon. I'm not sure how useful that would be in the squad, but for this I would just default to the dual heavy hand weapons because more attacks are better. Next unit is Paladins, quality 4, defense 4, empower, that's the one where you roll a dice, so you either get rending or AP plus 1, fearless and toughness 3. They come equipped with swords and staffs for 2 attacks with poison. You can replace all the swords and staffs for just hand weapons for 3 attacks, or a great staff, 2 attacks AP1 with rending. And if you do the hand weapons, you can replace one hand weapon with a great weapon, 3 attacks AP2. And you can also upgrade one model with Evocator to become a caster, which gives you access to the spell list. So this squad is interesting if you want to have more small casters running around. This is going to be a way to do it, but on their own. You're going to hear me say this a lot as we go through. 2 attacks apiece with poison, even though they are toughness 3 with defense 4, I don't think that qualifies for 130 points. Something just feels off about this squad to me. Next unit is the Winged Wardens. Quality 4, defense 4, fearless, flying, furious, and toughness 3. We've seen everything but flying so far. Flying means that you ignore all terrain and all units whenever you move. Come equipped with heavy hand weapons for 2 attacks AP1. You can replace the heavy hand weapons with a javelin and a dagger for 2 shots at 12 inches in AP1. Or dual heavy hand weapons for 4 attacks AP1. You can replace one heavy hand weapon with a heavy great weapon for AP3. You can replace one javelin for a storm trident for deadly 3. And you can upgrade all models with celestial descent to give them ambush. Now we are starting to see some different utility in these units. So the Winged Wardens ambushing with javelins, so they can drop down and just start throwing ranged attacks from wherever they landed. It's a pretty good option. If you want to go the melee route, again, definitely go for the dual heavy hand weapons for 12 attacks over the 3 members of the squad with AP1. And with Furious, all of your 6s explode. Next unit is the Praetorians, quality 3, defense 3. Fearless, head taker, and toughness 3. This is the unit that you get AP plus 2 against enemies that are toughness 3 or higher. The unit is equipped with axe halberds, 3 attacks with reliable and rending, and the unit has no upgrades. So with reliable and head taker, anything that is a tougher model, send these after it. So much so that I think this would be a good unit to have a Warden Knight attached to it to give Celestial Beacon to make sure that these Praetorians are where they need to be for Head Taker to work. Next unit are Eternals. Quality 3, defense 3, fearless and toughness 3. All equipped with great glaives, 3 attacks apiece, AP1 with rending. You can replace all of the great glaives with great axes for reliable 3 attacks AP1 or great hammers, 3 attacks AP3. You can replace one great glaive with a dual axe for 4 attacks with reliable, or a great mace, 2 attacks, AP1 and blast 3. Now, since this is the first unit that we've seen multiple high AP weapons, I would go with that. 220 points, 9 attacks, AP3. One of the heavier hitting units we've seen so far. Next unit is Destroyers, quality 3, defense 2, fearless, slow, and toughness 3. They're all armed with meteor hammers for 4 attacks AP2, and you can replace one of those hammers with a meteor great hammer, 2 attacks AP4 and deadly 3. Now 4 attacks apiece at AP2, that's nothing to be ashamed of, but being slow, they are going to find it difficult to get into combat. They are going to want to line up on the edge of the deployment zone and just march in a straight line until they meet the enemy. This puts it in a weird situation where even if you take a Warden Knight with Celestial Beacon to give them all ambush, it's not going to help you much. Because ambush, you have to deploy 9 inches away from the enemy. And with slow, your maximum charge is 8 inches. So if you bring this unit in turn 2, you're not going to reach an enemy unit to even start a fight. Next unit is the Guardian Archers, quality 4, defense 4, fearless. And they all have bows for 1 shot at 24 inches and hand weapons for 1 attack. The unit has no upgrades. You get 5 of them. They are a cheap ranged unit at under 100 points. Good for holding backline stuff, pushing forward on a flank, shooting into enemy units that are reduced in strength after a fight. More of a utility cleanup shooting unit. Next unit are the Warden Shooters, quality 4, defense 4, fearless, and toughness 3. They have 2-shot bows with AP 1 at 24 and 2 attacks apiece with hand weapons. And you can replace all of the bows with Thunder Crossbows, 1-shot AP 1 and Blast 3, Rapid Heavy Crossbows, 2 shots AP 1 with Rending, or Volley Crossbows, 4 shots AP 1 with Rending. Now, this unit and all of their ranged weapons is interesting because they have an answer for all questions. They just have to figure out what question to answer first. Like if you're fighting against a whole lot of chaff units, Thunder Crossbow is the way to go. Fighting against an enemy that has lots of regeneration, Rapid Heavy Crossbow. Fighting against an enemy that is fast and is going to want to get into your face, a Volley Crossbow. You just got to figure out what question you want to answer. Next unit are the Warden Hunters, quality 4, defense 4, fearless, scout, strider, and toughness 3. And with scout, they are going to be able to be set up 12 inches outside of your deployment zone. And with most games of OPR played with 24 inches in between the two armies, that means you get set up right in the middle of no man's land. They all have bolt pistols for 2 shots at 12 inches with rending, and hand weapons for 2 attacks. The unit has no upgrades. This is going to be a shock ranged unit. Starting at the midpoint of the board, they're going to be able to move forward, fire off all of their bolt pistols at whatever is in range. Toughness 3 and defense 4. They should be able to weather some enemy resistance, but don't expect them to last if the enemy wants to focus on them. Next unit is the Warden Marksman, quality 4, defense 4, fearless, and toughness 3. They're armed with Cyclone crossbows, 3 shots apiece, AP 1 with rending at 18 inches, and hand weapons for 2 attacks. You can replace all the Cyclone crossbows with Precision crossbows, 2 shots AP 3 rending with sniper at 24 inches. And this unit with the Precision crossbows is just scary. If you want to rip characters out of units, or if you want to make sure that you kill individual models that are holding different pieces of equipment, like the sergeant, the banner, the medical trained person inside the enemy unit, giving them regeneration, these Warden Marksmen will make sure that they are dead and no longer causing you a problem. Next unit are the Hunting Hawks, quality 5, defense 5, fast, flying, and toughness 3. 3 attacks apiece with rending. The unit has no upgrades. Now, with the rest of your army focused on beating stuff in the face, I think Hunting Hawks should be focused on the little nuances of objective play. Say the enemy has an objective that is behind some terrain, not really paying attention towards the end of the game. Hunting Hawks can fly over top and just sit on the enemy's objective, making sure that it becomes contested. If the enemy moves out and away from its deployment zone, the Hunting Hawks with flying and fast can go right over the top and go jump on objectives they left behind to flip them in your favor. Next unit are the Beast Hounds, quality 4, defense 5, fast, strider, toughness 3, and warning cry. They all have 3 attacks with AP 1 with vicious bites. These are going to be the same idea as the Hunting Hawks, except they do have a little bit more utility and a little bit more damage output. That, along with the warning cry, meaning that no one can ambush within 12 inches of them, this unit will do fine on its own, running up a flank, snagging stuff that the enemy is not paying attention to, or charging into those squishy bits like artillery pieces or ranged units. Next unit is the Griff Hunters, quality 4, defense 4, fast, fearless, impact 2, scout, and toughness 3. Now with impact, whatever number that says there next to it, and in this case it's going to be a 2, whenever you charge into the enemy, you roll that many dice. Those are your impact attacks. 2 of them for each one of these models that makes it into base contact. Those impact hits hit on a 2. They don't have any AP, so the enemy gets to make whatever their armor save is, but it's extra damage on top of whatever your weapons cause. And these all have hand weapons for 2 attacks. You can replace the hand weapons with a javelin for 2 attacks at 12 inches with AP 1, or a bolt pistol for 2 attacks with rending at 12. I really wish there was a lance option for these, because with just hand weapons, they're not really going to be that effective, and with javelins and bolt pistols, you lose out on the impact hits. Just kind of a weird spot for a cavalry unit. And then our last multi-model unit are the Drake Lion Paladins. Quality 4, Defense 4. Empower, Fast, Fearless, Strider, and Toughness 3. And remember, Empower is the one where you roll a dice. If you get low, you get Rending. If you get high, you get AP 1. 2 attacks with AP 1 with Heavy Claws, and 2 attacks with Poison from Swords and Staffs. You can replace any Swords and Staffs with Great Staffs for 2 attacks, AP 1 with Rending. And you can upgrade one model with a Locator to get Caster 1. Once again, I wish there was some more heavy hitting stuff in these cavalry units. But as it stands, I would definitely do Great Staffs to get them a little bit more AP in the fighting, and then a Locator to throw out some spells. Puts it at 240 points, and all depending on how your spell rolls do, this might be a great unit, or it might not be. You could flub the rolls. Now on to vehicles and monsters. We're going to start off with the Drake Eternal. Quality 3, Defense 3. Breath Attack, Fast, Fearless, and Toughness 3. 3 attacks with AP 1 with Rending from a Great Glaive, and 1 attack with Rending from a Rending Claw. You can replace the Great Glaive with a Great Hammer for AP 3, Great Axe for Reliable, or a Dagger and a Volley Crossbow for 4 shots at 12 inches, AP 1, and Rending. Now at 150 points, Toughness 6 with a Defense of 3, this is going to be your throwaway meat missile. This you point at the enemy, and with Fast, you fly directly into them and you start fighting. Best option here, I think, would be the Great Hammer to give them some AP 3 oomph. You have your Breath Attack, plus your Rending Claw for a little more extra damage out there. Don't expect much out of these Drake Eternals, because again, they're still only Toughness 6 with Defense 3, but they will cause some havoc. Next unit is the Dragon Eternal. Quality 3, Defense 3, Breath Attack, Fear of 1, Flying, Fearless, and Toughness 6. Again, we're only Toughness 6. 2 attacks AP 1 from a Heavy Claw, and 3 attacks AP 3 with a Heavy Great Weapon. And you can replace the Heavy Great Weapon with a Heavy Lance, 3 attacks AP 1 with Lance. Once again, same idea as the Drake Eternal. This you get a little bit more teeth, a little bit stronger weapons. Once again, throw it towards the enemy. It's 175 points, a little bit more expensive, but still cheap enough to go cause damage, and you don't really have to worry about it. Next unit is the Storm Chariot. Quality 4, Defense 3, Fast, Fearless, Impact 6, and Toughness 9. 2 attacks with AP 1 from a Heavy Claw, and 4 attacks with Lance from the Spear Crew. You can replace the Spear Crew with a Bow Crew for 9 shots at AP 1 at 18. This is an interesting chariot. It kind of bridges the gap between melee and shooting. Either one of those is viable. 4 attacks with Lance, meaning those are going to hit on a 3 when it charges, plus Impact 6 and 2 attacks AP 1. That's a pretty decent melee combo. 195 points. Again, it would be worth it in my mind to put 1 or 2 of these in the army list, run them forward into the enemy, cause havoc, break the enemy lines, just go nuts with it. And then also the Bow Crew. 9 shots AP 1 at 18. That is enough shooting attacks in my mind to make that viable. You're still only going to hit half of them because you are quality 4, but it should be enough to start causing morale tests around the enemy. Next and the last unit is the Wardens Artillery. Quality 4, Defense 4. Entrenched means it's -2 to hit with shooting when the enemy model is over 9 inches away, as long as this model didn't move since the beginning of the turn. And then it has a mobile, so it's not going to move. Fearless and Toughness 3. Comes with a Celestial Bolt Ballista, 2 shots AP 1 Deadly 3 at 30, and 3 attacks in melee from its crew. And then you can switch out the Celestial Bolt for a Shock Bolt Ballista, 6 shots, AP1 at 24. This isn't an army that I would normally put artillery in. I would just focus most of the points in pushing forward, but at 105 or 110 for the 6-shot option, it's cheap enough. If you want some more ranged, heavier shooting, definitely go for it. So that's it. That's all of the units for the Eternal Wardens army list. Now I've put together a 2,000 point army, and we're going to go out into the garage and have ourselves a fight. I will see you out there.
Welcome back to the garage, everybody. This is the Wardens army that we have brought today. Let's start at the top. We have 2 squads of Wardens with dual weapons. These guys have 4 attacks apiece. Those are going to be the ones with the spears. Another squad of 3 Wardens. These guys over here with the hammers. They have single weapons, but still 2 attacks apiece. Then we have a Knight Protector or a Knight Warden, whatever it's called, this guy here, along with 6 Praetorians, and the whole squad has ambush because of him. Then we have 6 shooters over here. Then 2 squads of 3 Hunting Hawks, but using these Gamic models are actually owls. And then in the back we have 2 Drake Eternals with the great weapons for 3 attacks apiece, AP3, 1 attack with rending and breath attacks. So let's see who they are going to be playing against today. And today they're playing against the Havoc dwarfs. Now this is a revised list. We've had to call in a few favors from other armies to fill it out, but let me show you what we have. There's an Abyssal Leader with 20 warriors. They all get regeneration from this guy. We have 10 Berserkers, 10 Immortals, and they all get the extra 6-up save from the Iron Champion that's with them. We have 3 squads of 10 shooters, all armed with the blunderbusses or the rifles, the ones that are 18-inch range, not 12. And then we have 2 weapon teams back here, all armed with mortars, 6 flame spirits, and 2 artillery. Let's check out the board. So here is the board. We got a couple hills, we got some trees and bushes, and then we have our own little quaint village over here, along with a bush over there. So what we're going to do is we're going to have the 12-inch deployment on each side. We're going to roll up 4 objectives. It's going to be me against Uncle C. Uncle C is going to be playing the Wardens, and I'm going to be playing the Havoc dwarves. So let's do some dice rolling. How many objectives do we have? We have, oh, that's off screen, but it was a 1, so we get D3 plus 2, so we got 3 objectives, and then we're going to roll to see who puts down what first. I got a 2, he gets a 2, a 6, and a 2, so that means I get to put down 2 of the 3 objectives, and then I get to go first. All right, real complicated. We got 1, we got 2, we got 3, and also we have a helicopter coming. Yay. So we're going to go ahead and deploy, and then we'll come back to you. So here is the Wardens deployment zone. We got some Wardens, we got some Hawks, Dragon, Drake, Wardens, shooters, and then the Praetorians are in ambush. And then the Havoc dwarves, we got shooters, fire spirits, artillery, immortals, weapon teams, shooters, warriors, artillery, shooters, berserkers, and weapon teams. This is a lot of models. So looking at the board before the game starts, the dwarves are awful wide and the Wardens are awful tall. Let's see what happens during the game. Can the Wardens take out the short kings, or can the firepower of the little buggers take out the Wardens? Opening move for the Havoc dwarves. We're going to have our big brick of 20 move forward. And that's the absolute fastest they can go because they got short little legs. First activation for the Wardens. We got a squad of Wardens moving on to the objective there. Next activation is going to be the Berserkers moving forward as fast as they can go. And again, short little legs. Another squad of Wardens moving forward. Next activates the Flame Spirits to there. 3 of the Hunting Hawks, or in this case Owls, to there. 10 Immortals. to there. Second squad of Hawks over to there. Now it's time to get the weapon teams involved. We're going to start dropping shells. Our first weapon team is going to fire right there. Each weapon team has 1 shot apiece, hitting on a 4 for 2 hits. AP 1, blast of 3, it's going to be 6 hits, saving on a 5. Yep. So we're going to take 2 wounds. So it takes 1 guy to, beep, 1. Unit of Wardens all the way over there, just going to move forward.
The pointy things.
So with those Wardens moving there, these dwarves, they are going to go up the hill a whole whopping 4 inches. And then from there, they're going to fire over these Wardens, and they're going to get cover because of the bushes in the way. But we can still see them. 10 shots out of 4. Well, we got a couple. It's AP 1, but because of the cover, they go back down to a 4 to save. They're going to take 2. So what's going to happen next is those shooters over there are going to fire at those shooters there. We got some shooter-on-shooter action. 2 shots apiece, hitting on a 4. Pretty good. AP 1, and because now they're on top of the hill, they're not going to get cover. So saving on a 6. They're going to lose 5, which is enough to trigger a morale test, which they're going to pass. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So next for the dwarfs' turn, we're going to take our futuristic-looking weapon team, and we are going to fire over into that squad of Wardens over there that already took some wounds. 3 shots out of 4. We got 2 hits, saving on a 4. We're going to take 3. So that guy goes down, and we just move the dice over. Okay, our first Drake unit is going to move up there to lord over the battlefield. Next up, we're going to have our artillery piece over here go bloop and fire off into that Warden squad over there. 2 shots hitting on a 4. Whiff. Second Drake unit is going to go thud right to the middle of everything over there. Ta-da. Next, going to have this artillery unit is going to fire into those Wardens on that objective there. 2 shots out of 4. 1 hit. Saving on 5. We're going to take 2. Bringing one of them down to 1 wound. Now the Wardens are done, and it's time for the dwarfs to finish up. So first we're going to start off with this shooter team. They are going to aim over the heads of guys and fire at that dragon. 10 shots out of 4. All right. Saving on a 4. So it takes 1. And next, our last squad of shooters is going to fire at that dragon up top. It's going to get a cover because of, it's on a brick structure. Hitting on a 4. Still about a little below average. Well, actually, that is average. We got 5. So it covers, saving on a 3. Ooh, it's going to take 4, which is more than half. So morale test on a 3. It fails, but fearless. Still, it's going to be pinned. So down to 2 and stuck. So turn number 1 is in the books. The Havoc Dwarf firepower is doing some damage, not much, but stunning that Drake all the way up on top of the watchtower. That is going to help them immensely in turn number 2. We are going to see a whole lot of combat this turn, I feel. So let's go ahead and get right into it. We had some ambushers. We got the Praetorians and the Knight Commander 9 inches away from the Berserkers there. So they dropped right on the front line because there's nothing around the flanks. Well, I mean, over here, but that's a ways from everything. So there we go. First activation, the Hawks are going to come back here into the weapon teams. So we got 9 attacks, hitting on a 5 with rending. Ooh, couple 6s. So there's 1 non-rending hit on a 5. It saves, and the rest on 6s. So 1 squad loses 2 wounds. Attacking back on a 4. We got 3 hits. They're going to take 3 wounds, which they lose combat. Morale test. They're going to be fine. So one team is down to 1. Hawk's got to back up an inch, and they lose 1 whole Hawk. Over here, we are going to have the fire elementals. They are going to charge into that unit of Wardens right there. Like so. 4 attacks apiece, hitting on a 4 with Furious. Ooh. So those are all the hits we got, plus the 2 6s for that many. Save it on a 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's going to be the squad. So there goes all 3, and then we have to stay an inch away from the Drake, and we get to wiggle, and the dice goes away. And then in retaliation, the Drake has gone in. First, the breath attack. It's going to hit. 3 at AP 1. We're going to take 2, but with Ethereal, we get the extra save, which we fail. 1 rending attack. Hits. Saves. 3 at AP 3. 2 hits. Saving on a 6. 2 more fail. So that's 4 wounds total on the fire elementals. 5 of them left with 4 attacks apiece. Only hitting on a 6 because we are fatigued. For 3 hits. Saving on a 3. It takes 3. It still wins combat though. Morale test for the elementals. They are going to pass. So he backs up an inch, and then we lose 1 elemental, and 1 is down to 2. Dwarf activation over here. They are going to jump on those with the Berserkers. 2 attacks apiece, hitting on a 4 with Furious and Slayer. Oh. Wow, we got tons of hits and tons of Furious. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Furious. For that many. Because they have Slayer, they are going to be AP 2, so saving on a 6. Yeah, they're dead. Dwarven Blender. Boop. Next, to activate the Praetorians are going to go into these shooters here. Starting off with the Knight, hitting on a 4. For 2 hits with Furious. Saving on a 6. There's 4 dead. And then the rest on a 3. For that many hits. So we already lost 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, that's the squad. So all 10, blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Next Dwarf activation, we're going to have our Immortals here. They're just going to move forward and plug the gap. Like that. That unit of shooters over there is going to shoot at the shooters. 12 shots on a 4. Couple. Saving on a 6. We got 2 left. Morale test. They're going to pass. Pew, pew, pew. Next, we're going to have this unit of shooters fire at the Praetorians. 10 shots on a 4. We got 1. Saving on a 4 with AP. Yeah, they're fine. That unit of the Wardens, they're going to come through. They're going to attack the Immortals. Hit no 4. 2 hits. AP 1, the Immortals are going to be saving on a 5. They fail them both. And then they have their 6 up charred shield save. Still failed them both. So there's 8 left plus the hero. So the Iron Champion hitting on a 3. 1 hit. Saving on a 6. Fails 1. Then the rest of the Immortals on a 3. For 4 more. Saving on a 6 because they're AP 2. So they lose 3 more, which that's the whole squad. So move camera drop. So bip bip, and then bip bip, and we are done there. Next activation for the Havoc Dwarfs. We're going to have this unit of warriors come in as deep as they can. We're not going to get many, but let's see. So we got 9 warriors and the hero close enough to swing. That's going to be 12 attacks on 4. For that many hits, saving on a 3. Those will be 4 wounds there. Attack it back. The Knight has 4 attacks on a 6 because they are fatigued. There's 1. Saving on a 6. Okay, saves. And then everybody else on a 6. There are 3. Now those are rending, so our shields don't matter, and we're going to lose another 3. Ending up 4-4, so that's going to be a tied combat. the hawks into those shooters. That attacks on a 5 with rending. So 3 hits, 2 of those are rending. The rending hits, 2 dead, then the regular on a 5 passes. So we move in, and then we have 8 attacks with the guys left on a 4 for 4 hits, 4 hats, 4 big hats. I'm running the wrong style. Saving on a 5. So he loses 3. So that's going to be 1 bird, and then they lost combat. Morale tests, they are going to fail. Since he's unpinning, we're just going to go ahead and take that marker, maybe, and put it over on those birds. So that leaves the Havoc doors with those, the artillery and the weapon teams to activate the rest of the turn. So what we're going to do is we're going to do weapon team, artillery, and weapon team are going to fire into the Praetorians. Starting off with the first weapon team on a 4. 1 hit, saving on 3. Saves. Second weapon team on a 4. 1 hit, saving on 3. There's 1. And then the artillery piece on a 4 completely misses. So after all that, boop. And then last 2 activations, this unit of dwarfs are going to go, get off the hill. And then the artillery piece, for lack of better targets, because they're out of range, it's going to fire at the Drake. So the artillery fires, and nothing. Awesome. There was a whole lot of death that turn. The Wardens are not doing that hot moving into turn number 3. But remember, it's only 3 objectives, and all they have to do is hold 1 and contest the other 2. Moving on to turn number 3. First activation, the Drake is going to go right back into those fire elementals. Or flame spirits, that's their name. Starting off with a breath attack on a 2. There you go. AP 1, saving on a 5. Fail 2. Ethereal. Fail 2. 1 rending attack. It hits and it rends. 6. Fail. Ethereal. Fail. And then the great weapon. 2 hits. On a 6. Fail. Ethereal. Fail. For a total of 5. So that means 2 more go down. We are down to 3. Hitting on a 4. Oh, pretty good. 6 hits, saving on the 3. Yep. He takes 4, which means that's going to be into that dragon. Dragon gone, and then 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Kind of cleared that objective out. These warriors over here, they're going to continue to filter in on those Praetorians. Now that they're all in there to play, it is 19 attacks, 16 warriors and the Abyssal Leader hitting on a 4. Not bad at all. Saving on a 3. They take 3 more wounds. That's going to be 1 Praetorian down. So the Knights attacks. 1 hit. Save. And the rest of the attacks on a 4. With rending. So we got 3 rending hits and then 4 regular hits. The 4 regular hits saving on a 4 because of the shield. They all save. And then the 3 rending on a 6. So we lose 2. Morale test for the Praetorians. They are going to fail, but they are fearless. They still fail. So just a cacophony of bad rolls for the Wardens. They're going to be stunned here, and then we lose 2 dwarfs and back up an inch. So up there, the shooters, they're going to fire into what's left of the fire magma elementals, magma spirits. That's, God, I can't get your name right. Oh, hitting on a 4. For that many hits. AP 1, so saving on a 5. Hey, they take 2 with the elemental. Yeah, they take 2. Which they took wounds, and now they are at half. So morale test, they're going to pass. So, whoop, down to 1. Dwarf turn. Those shooters, they're gonna fire at those owls. So it's gonna be 8 shots on a 4. 2 hits, saving on a 6 because it's AP 1. That's going to be 2 wounds. So one bird is down to 2. They don't take a morale test because they already failed. So they took 2. I meant that one is down to 1. Big Drake boy is going to come down here and fight the berserkers. Breath attack. It's going to hit. 1 goes down. Great weapon. 3 hits. Saving on a 6. 3 more go down. And the single rending hit, it hits. Saving on a, not that, so another goes down. So there's 5 dwarves down. There's 5 left. Hitting on a 4. For that, they do have Furious, but didn't charge. AP minus 3, saving on a 6. Or was it AP minus 2? Either way, it only had 2 left, and then we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these guys gone. Ta-da! So now, what the little berserkers are going to do, they are going to go ahead and get their 3 inches for killing it in close combat, and their extra move for a total of 11, putting them around the corner, closer to the objective that is being hidden by smoke and mirrors. So over here, the owls are going to turn. I've got forges and fires on my mind. They're going to charge the warriors. 6 attacks on a 5. 1 hit, and it is rending. Ha! That's a dead warrior. Warriors attacking back on a 6 for nothing. Morale test. They're going to pass. Pew! So all that's left for the Wardens, we're going to unstun those, and then we're going to recover these, and then the rest is dwarfs. So over here, we're going to have the Immortals move on to the objectives, the Flame Spirit to move that way. Flame Spirit's there, Immortals on the objective. These shooters over here, they're just going to hang out. This artillery piece, there is nothing in range of him, but 2 weapon teams in the artillery are going to fire at those Praetorians again. Okay, we're going to start off with the artillery this time. 1 hit. Saving on a 4. They take 2 wounds there. Weapon team 1. 1 hit. Saving on a 3. Those are good. Weapon team 2. 2 hits. Saving on a 3. Those are good. So 1 goes splat, and that one is down to 2. Ah, let him go. There we go. So moving on to turn number 4, the Turtle Wardens are not in a good spot in the slightest. The dwarves look like they're going to lock down 2 objectives, and the Wardens are going to be fighting to contest another. Let's see what happens in turn number 4. First activation of the turn, we got the shooters up there. Going to fire at those Immortals on that objective. Hitting on a 4. They got 5 hits. Saving on a 5. They're going to save 2. Then they have a regeneration from their squad leader. Saves another one. And then a 6-up save from the charred shield. I'm sorry, the regeneration came just from the units. For another, so they lose 1. Pew! The unit of warriors are going to push back into the Praetorians. 16 attacks on a 4. I did not roll 16. I need another 4. They all missed anyways. Good job. Saving on a 3. Loses another 2. The knight fighting. Hitting twice. Saving on a 6. Fail. And the other guys on a 3 with rending. 3 rending hits. Save 1. And the last 2 saving 1. For a total of 5 lost. The dwarves are going to need a morale test. This time they are going to fail. So pinned 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And back up an inch. Now these 2 owls there are going to go fight the Immortals. 5s. We got 2. Saving on a 4. They have rending, so no regeneration, but we do get the 6 from the charred shield, so we lose 1. 6 Immortals left. Hitting on a 3. Saving on a 6. There's going to be 3, so he's down to 1 owl with 1 wound, and then we have the Iron Champion hitting on a 3. 3 hits. Saving on a 6. Gone. Leaving the objective back in the dwarves' hands. So back over here to the Dwarven artillery train. We are going to take this squad here and fire into those owls. 3 shots out of 4. We got 2 hits. Now they are blasted 3, but there's only 2 left. It only hits 2 of them. So that's going to be 2 wounds. Morale test for the owls. They're going to fail. Wait, I was wrong. They don't take morale tests because they are not at half. But 1 guy left with 1 wound. The Praetorian is going to charge into the Berserkers. That Praetorian attacking. Whiff. The rest of the Praetorians, 1 hit. Saving on a 6. Fail. So we're down to 4 Berserkers. Hitting on a 4. For 3 hits. Saving on a 5 for Slayer. They're going to take 2. Which means Praetorians lose combat. And they're going to pass. So that one goes down to 1. And then we lose 1 Berserker. So then over here, the Berserkers, they are just going to onto that objective. And then the owls, they are just going to charge into here. 6 attacks on a 5 with rending. Hey, 3 rending hits. Hitting on a 6. I mean, saving on a 6. They all fail. The warriors attacking back, all hitting on a 6. 1 hit. Saving on a 5. Fail. So that's going to take out that owl with 1 wound left. But, so this owl's gone. These guys, since they're already stunned and they are below half and they lost combat, they run away. So with that, there's nothing else that can change any of the outcome. We are going to have 2 objectives for the dwarves to 1 for the wardens for a Havoc dwarf victory. I don't know who it was in the comments. I can go back and look on the Havoc dwarf video that said, hey, Havoc dwarves should be shooting. And then the guys on foot are just there for cleanup. Turns out you're 100% right. So that does it for the Eternal Wardens. Now, this army is another one of the building tall versus building wide army lists. And in this case, the army that was built tall ended up losing. And just because of the way OPR games are structured, the dice definitely favored the dwarves on this one. Maybe with different tactics, different positioning of the objectives, the Wardens would have come out on top, but today they fell just short. So let us know down in the comments what you guys that play Eternal Wardens, what your lists are structured like, what the tactics you use. Then I can switch them up in the next video, just like I did today with the Havoc Dwarves. So that is going to do it for us out here in the garage today. I hope you all are having fun playing OPR wherever you are. I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.